Hey everyone, I want to talk to you today about different ways that you can change exercises to progress them and make them a little bit more difficult as you advance through. Now, most of the workout cards, they're going to have a kind of a rep range, and then on the notes tab I always talk about different ways to progress the workout as you go along. Now, we want to get into a little bit more detail here today and give you some general tips in case you ever need to make more adjustments on your own. The first way to make an exercise more challenging is probably the easiest way and the most obvious way, and that's to add some more weight. A bicep curl with 10 pounds is a lot different than a bicep curl with 35 pounds. So adding some weight can change the exercise. However, weight's not the only way you can change things, and sometimes it's not the best way. Sometimes our joints don't like more weight. Sometimes there's limitations. We just don't have access to more weights. Or maybe for some other reason, like a really common one is goblet squats. Sometimes people just can't hold more weight in their hands, but their legs can do more weight. So there's other things that we can do. We can adjust the range of motion. If you do a larger range of motion, you tend to do a little bit more work, because work is force times distance. You get a little bit more distance on that range of motion, you get a little bit more work. This comes up a lot on like lunges. If you put your front foot on a box, that means you can lunge lower, which gives you more range of motion. That's one way to adjust things. We can also do that when you're starting out. Some people don't have the flexibility to go through a full range of motion. And then as you advance along, you can get into a more range of motion as you become more advanced there. Another way that we can adjust this is through reps, how many repetitions you do of an exercise. As you probably noticed on the workout card, most exercises have a rep range to do 10 to 15 reps of something. What we can do, if you do 10 reps, that's a lot different than if you're doing 15 reps. 15 reps obviously going to be more difficult because it's more reps. You can also do more sets. You can start at 2 to 3 sets, and then if you need more challenge, you can add another additional set. Doing 4 sets, doing more sets is more challenging than doing 3 sets. And then you can also adjust the amount of time that you do on an exercise. This is really obvious with cardiovascular work. So usually people will ride a bike for 20 minutes. As they get better, they ride the bike for 30 minutes. As they get better, they ride the bike for 35 minutes, and so on and so forth. That's one way that you can do this. You can also do this with resistance training by changing the tempo with which you exercise. If you are doing an overhead press and you're just pressing reps like this, it's going to be a lot easier than if you advance things and try to go here. These are going to be more time under tension. It's going to make the arms more tired. It's going to be an advancement on that if you're limited on the weight options. One note about time though, they did find some research. Excessively slow reps, taking about 20 seconds per rep, counterproductive. You don't actually benefit and adapt from that. And then finally, the last thing that you can do is you can pause. I do this a lot with clients that are doing goblet squats and are limited by the weight of the dumbbell that they can do. Either they can't hold more weight or they don't have access to more weight. Pausing at the bottom when you're sitting at the squat, holding that for a moment, and then coming back up. That little pause makes a little bit more challenge in the rep, so that's a way to advance the workout. You could do this with other exercises like a dumbbell chest press. If you're holding, stop in the middle, and then go up to the top, stop in the middle, and come back. And all those little stops, they're going to need to initiate muscle contraction, which is going to make that more challenging. So there are 6 different ways that if you need to advance your workouts, and I do want you to continually advance your workouts, there's 6 different ways to do it. You can adjust the weight of the implement that you're using. You can adjust the range of motion that you're going through. You can adjust the amount of reps, the amount of sets. You can adjust the time it takes you to do the exercise. And then you can pause in the middle of a contraction to make that more challenging. Awesome. Put these to use. Continue to progress, and let's make our dreams come true.